I'm Spotlight on America correspondent Angie Moreski. We're here in Atlanta following the battle of a community against an invisible cancer-causing gas. For years, Spotlight on America has investigated the potential health impact of ethylene oxide used to sterilize medical equipment at facilities like this. New, tougher emissions regulations set to take effect next year were supposed to help, but now presidential exemptions are leaving communities like this in limbo.
So here's the plant right there.
It's been 6 years since Janet Rowell first learned her home is within just a few miles of this plant in Smyrna, Georgia, that uses ethylene oxide, or ETO, a carcinogen, to sterilize medical equipment, and where emissions were released into the community for decades. What's one of your biggest concerns?
You just have all these neighborhoods.
Some neighborhoods within a mile, and she says equally concerning,
All those red dots are schools.
several schools also within a couple of miles where several students and teachers have had cancer, including this school where Janet's children attended and she and her husband were teachers. What has ETO done to this community?
I think it's made people scared. We shouldn't have to be afraid of living and working in our neighborhoods, in our communities.
In 2018, federal data revealed her community was among about 100 census tracts nationwide with a higher cancer risk, due in large part to ethylene oxide. Almost 5,000 members. That's a big group.
It is a big group.
After learning of the risk, her community mobilized, forming Stop Sterigenics Georgia. The public outcry led to a new Georgia law in 2020 requiring tougher ETO regulation for sterilization facilities.
Safety is the top priority.
Sterigenics told Spotlight it outperforms safety requirements
These enhancements involve the use of a new double scrub process.
and sent us this video highlighting improvements made in its sterilization process. Georgia's Air Protection Branch Chief Jim Boylan would not do an on-camera interview, but told Spotlight upgrades are now required for all sterilizers in the state to get permits. And based on self-reported testing done by the facilities, Georgia concluded communities are not at any elevated risk from nearby sterilizers. What is your biggest concern now?
Safety.
But Cobb County Commissioner and former state legislator Eric Allen, who helped write ETO law in Georgia, says he is still worried because the state does no independent air testing to verify emission levels.
It's all self-reported. There's no other area where you self-regulate like that when there could be danger.
So you don't trust the honor system here?
I don't think the honor system should be trusted. That's like a sprinter saying, I'm the fastest person in the world, but do not use a stopwatch.
Contributing to his skepticism, the Sterigenics Smyrna plant was one of 40 across the country to receive a 2-year presidential exemption from new, tougher federal emissions rules passed in 2024. The White House announced it granted the exemptions because of a national security threat caused by potential supply chain issues due to a lack of equipment available for upgrades. But the Smyrna plant already completed the upgrades.
Why would you ask for a waiver to have that standard reduced for your operation if you're already exceeding?
We wanted to know why Sterigenics got an exemption for this facility if it's already in compliance with the new law, but the company would not agree to do an interview with us and did not answer that question in a statement provided to Spotlight. Even the state's Air Branch Chief Boylan told Spotlight he was surprised to learn of the exemption because Sterigenics was already meeting everything required by the new rule.
Without doing actual testing, you can't know. You can't.
Citizens like Janet say it leaves them concerned and calling on the state to independently confirm ETO emission levels are safe. You think they need to verify?
Absolutely. Trust but verify. Like, that's a key tenet of regulation.
We'll be following what happens with the tougher new federal emission standards as the EPA reconsiders the rule and let you know what happens. You can read more on our years-long ETO investigation on our website at spotlightinvestigates.com. For Spotlight on America, I'm Angie Moreski.